Welcome back to our channel, Lady Ferns. Today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to take you for a drive-through tour of the Petrified Forest National Park in Arizona. This park has two entrances, one off the I-40, which I'll call the north entrance, and the other off the I-80, which I'll call the south entrance. We had camped just outside of the south entrance at the Crystal Forest campground, so we'll be entering through the south entrance in this particular video. It should be noted that there is a $25 per vehicle fee to enter the park. However, that pass is good for 7 consecutive days. So if you want to come back and visit over and over again during the next 7 days, you are more than welcome to. And that $25 fee also includes all occupants of the vehicle. The Petrified Forest also does offer an annual pass for $45. So if you think you'll be coming back more than once in a year, it might be something to consider. The other option too is the America is Beautiful Pass. It gives some sort of discount. If you are currently a holder of the America is Beautiful Pass, it's something you might want to bring up when you're passing through the toll booth. The drive from one end of the park to the other is approximately 28 miles long. If you drive through without any stops, it is said it would take about an hour to drive the park from one end to the other. In this video, however, the video is sped up in many parts. Fast approaching on our left is the Petrified Forest Gift Shop, Rainbow Forest Museum. The hours of the park entrance as well as the visitor information centers is 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. One big piece of advice I have if you're going to visit the Petrified Forest National Park is to make sure your gas tank on your vehicle is sufficiently topped up before you begin your adventure. The Petrified Forest is a surprising place, offering far more than the world-renowned petrified logs. You can see so much just from your car and a few stops at lookouts. And if you're wanting an even more interactive experience, there are quite a few hikes and trail walks that you can do here, which are also pet-friendly, as long as they're on leash. There are fossils, badlands, buttes, and mesas, ancient petroglyphs, wildlife, and wildflowers, and the vast vistas for more than 100 miles. The Petrified Forest National Park is named for its large deposits of petrified wood and its fossils, especially fallen trees that lived in the late Triassic epoch about 225 million years ago. Colorful remnants of petrified logs decorate this expansive landscape that stretches for miles in every direction through the Petrified Forest. The 28-mile main park road winds past viewpoints and features trailheads that take visitors into the middle of otherworldly landscape. Short and easy hikes, many on paved trails, which get visitors up close to the ancient trees that have transformed from wood into quartz. The national park covers about 346 square miles, or 900 square kilometers. Averaging about 5,400 feet in elevation, the park has a dry, windy climate with temperatures that vary from summer highs of about 100 degrees Fahrenheit to winter lows well below freezing. More than 400 species of plants are found in the park. There are also many species of animals, large and small, that call the park home. Some of the larger animals, for example, are pronghorns, coyotes, and bobcats. And some of the smaller animals, such as deer mice, snakes, lizards, and even 7 kinds of amphibians, and more than 200 species of birds, some of which are permanent residents and many of which are migratory. About 1/3 of the park is designated for the wilderness, which accounts for more than 50,000 acres. Jasper Forest contains one of the largest accumulations of petrified wood in the world. Originally called the First Forest, this site was the first petrified wood site available to railroad travelers in the early 1900s. Looking down, you can see pieces of logs that were once encased in the sandstone ledge at your feet. After viewing the Jasper Forest, one needs to return on the road they came to access the main road once again. The Petrified Forest National Park is basically one main road that runs from north to south through the park with little offshoots and loops, but in the end they all lead back to the main road, so it's pretty easy not to get lost. Our next stop on our tour is Agate Bridge. The agate bridge is a 110-foot-long petrified log that has been reinforced with concrete to stay in place, and is worth a quick stop to check out. As we continue northbound on the main road through the Petrified National Forest, our next stop will be the Blue Mesa. The Blue Mesa area is a drivable loop with several pull-offs for viewpoints. And in the later part of the loop, there's the Blue Forest walking trail. The Blue Mesa is a scenic area known for its badlands and petrified wood. The Blue Forest Trail is a 1-mile loop trail that descends into the colorful badlands, offering views of multiple-hued landscapes and petrified wood deposits. The trail is paved and considered relatively easy, though there is a steep section on the return. Large pieces of petrified wood are visible along the trail, remnants of ancient trees that were fossilized over millions of years ago. Most of the park's petrified wood is from an extinct conifer tree. At least 9 species of fossil trees from the park have been identified. All are extinct. However, the park has many other types of fossils besides trees. The petrified wood that can be found in this national forest and the surrounding areas is very unique, and naturally many visitors are lured into wanting to take some home. However, removing rocks or other items is not only illegal, but is also harmful to the ecosystem and preserving the natural history. And if that's not enough to stop you, the Petrified Forest National Park in Arizona and the Escalante Petrified Forest State in Utah are both associated with the folklore legend of a curse for those who steal the petrified wood. The folklore claims that visitors who remove pieces of petrified wood are said to experience bad luck until they return the wood, and in often cases, mail the wood back to the park with an apology letter. But we'll save more of that folklore and other stories for another video. But just know that if you're really interested in the petrified wood, there is many shops that sell it that do not come with a curse. Here you can see the start of the Blue Forest Trail. The trail takes you down and descends into the Badlands. And if you look real closely, you can see people walking the trail as we drive past the Badlands. On this particular trip, we didn't do the walk down into the Badlands, but it is said that if you do, you'll have a true appreciation for the blue and purple hues of the landscape. And if you stop at this particular scenic overlook, there's a walkway that leads you out further onto the ledge, and you can have a very beautiful view of the trail and all the people walking it. The Petrified Forest National Park draws more than 600,000 visitors each year. While most come to see one of the world's largest concentrations of brilliantly colored petrified wood, many leave having glimpsed something more. The park consists of 2 main sections. In the south, where we entered from, has a major concentration of the famous colorful petrified wood, and in the north rise the colorful, banded badlands of the Painted Desert, which is where we are slowly making our way to next. Giant fossilized logs, many of them fractured into cord wood-sized segments, lie scattered throughout, like headstones bearing a deceased likeness. Much of the quartz that replaced the wood tissue 200 million years ago is tinted rainbow hues. The Teepees is an area of the park named for its conical hills with banded mudstones that were thought to resemble teepees. We were absolutely fascinated by this area and how unique it truly was. There's even a few pull-off areas to help you get a different angle for your photography. Our next stop will be Newspaper Rock. This is one of the more popular areas of the park. And had I known this existed, I would have been sure to bring my super zoom for my camera or at least binoculars. This lookout point looks over these gigantic rocks, and there's over 650,000 petroglyphs that are over 2,000 years old. I have pretty good eyesight, and even for me, they were hard to see, but they were there. But without binoculars or a good zoom lens, it really was hard to capture for everyone. But trust me, they're much more significant and beautiful than I can even show you in this video. Next time I go back, I'll be sure to be properly equipped. And even though I can't properly portray it for you all today, just know that it truly is an impressive sight. Our next stop as we head north is to Puco Pueblo. At this stop, you'll find a quarter-mile trail that has some of the remains of the old Pueblo homes that were built in the 1200s and 1300s. At its largest size, around the 1300s, Puco Pueblo may have been home to about 200 people. And in the late 1300s, the inhabitants of Puco Pueblo systematically abandoned the pueblo in search of a more suitable area. It was all but empty by the 1380. Only the sandstone bricks, potsherds, stone tools, petroglyphs, and other artifacts and features remained to tell the tale of the ancient people. As we continue to head north along the main road through the Petrified Forest National Park, we will eventually cross over Interstate 40. As there is only 2 points of entry and exit to the park, there is no access to Interstate 40 at this point. And right after you pass Interstate 40, there's a Route 66 exhibit. The pull-out showcases a section of the old Route 66 that passes through the park. The Petrified Forest National Park is the only national park that contains a section of the old highway. We are now in the northern part of the Petrified Forest National Park, and it is often referred to as the Painted Desert. The Painted Desert gets its name from the vibrant bands of color that streak across rolling hills and mesas. These hues, ranging from deep reds and oranges to purples, pinks and grays, are the result of layers of sediment and minerals deposited over millions of years. The desert floor is sandy, but then in the distance you can see what appears to be a cliff, as if they were painted on a canvas. It truly is a magnificent sight to see, and the camera does not do it justice. It really is something you should see in person. Our next stop will be Pintado Point, which sits at the highest elevation and has some of the best views. Pintado is the Spanish word for painted, which is fitting because at this scenic viewpoint you actually get a 360-degree view of the surrounding multi-hued painted desert badlands reaching for more than 100 miles. Our next stop will be Kachina Point, which overlooks the red part of the Painted Desert and is located about 2 miles from the north entrance of the Petrified Forest National Park. Also at this stop is located the Painted Desert Inn National Historic Landmark, which was built of petrified wood and other native stone. For almost 12 years, it was a tourist attraction. Visitors could eat meals in the lunchroom, purchase American Indian arts and crafts, and enjoy a cool drink in the downstairs tap room. 6 small rooms, cubicles really, were available for $2 to $4 per night. And our last and final stop before heading the Interstate 40 again was the Painted Desert Visitor Center, which is situated on the other side of the north entrance. Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope you enjoyed the tour of the Petrified Forest National Park.